What's going on, everybody? The world's a better place because you're here to join us. My name is Matt Brown. I am the host of the Productive Conversations podcast. It's a Sunday, the 15th of March, 2026. Let's talk another week of NBA basketball as we inch closer to the postseason, really seeing where things are going to go. And we actually had a lot of wild stories this week, too, to get into. So it's me and fresh faces. What's up, faces?
What's up, Matt? Let's get to it.
Let's get to it indeed. And right before that, I just want to remind you to like and subscribe to the Productive Conversations podcast on all podcasting platforms and YouTube. And don't forget to check out exclusive content regarding the show across all social media platforms. Or on Instagram at Productive Conversations Podcast, X at ProdConvoPod, TikTok at ProdConvoPod, Facebook at Productive Conversations. And as always, check us out on all podcasting platforms and YouTube. Busy week ahead. We have our NBA show right now. Our other sports show will be released on Monday regarding the preview of the March Madness college basketball March Madness 68 team tournament that begins this week. So we'll look at the bracket there, some World Baseball Classic, NFL free agency, Players Championship in golf, and then two tweet caps, one on Tuesday to talk about what happened over the weekend and a reaction to the Oscars, and on Friday to talk about what's about to be trending in the week ahead. So focusing here on basketball though. How are we doing though, Faces? Everything good?
Yeah, things are, basketball's still good. Let's focus on the basketball.
Definitely. So one of the things I definitely thought about you and hearing your thoughts on what turned out to be an historic night on Wednesday. Bam Adebayo, the center for the Miami Heat, became just the third player in NBA history to score at least 80 points in a single game, joining Wilt Chamberlain with his 100 and Kobe Bryant's 81 in 2006, 100 in 1962. But he scored 83 points, the second most in the second most in a single game in NBA history. And in that game, he also had the most free throws ever made at 36 and the most attempted at 43. I've seen mixed reviews on this, whether some people felt it was cheap while others felt that 83 points is still 83 points. But what do you think on the matter, Faces?
Um, I think go for it. Like, listen, there are teams that just do not give a shit at this point. They're trying to basically make it to the end of the season to get to the draft and figure it out there. The Wizards are one of those teams. When a player is hot like he is, there's just go for it. Because the thing with this is, in order for you to end up that he had 60 at halftime. Like
Yeah, 31 in the
at
first
some
quarter
point,
alone.
you have to, and this wasn't like this game is so weird because he's not a guy who does this. His previous high was 41. Bam is not a scorer, but everyone else was out. Like Rozier was out, Hero was out, all the other guys are out. So like even as a game, like this is also on the Wizards. Like yes, the end of that game got really weird, and who cares because it's like a random game during the middle of the week. Weird stuff's gonna happen. Like let that happen for them to chase the title, to chase the numbers. Like
Mhm.
go for it. The game didn't matter. Like they were gonna win. Um, like you have to. This is such poor game planning by the Wizards. It's like incredible. He was like the only option they had, and they were like, actually, what if we don't guard him until the fourth quarter when he already has like 70 plus points? Couple of other things with this. Uh, it does put in perspective how hard it is to actually score 100 points.
Yeah, you need
Because
everything to
like,
go
if you
your
think
way.
about it, so like it's certainly possible, and there's like a really good um discussion about this. So a couple years ago, Dame had like 72 in a game, and somebody was he's talking about it, and he's like, "Man, I should have had like 90 because my legs got tired on a couple. I had a couple layups rim out and stuff." But like if you think about it, he had to shoot 30 free throws because he only shot 7 for 21 from um or 7 for 22 from 3-point range. Like even if you assume someone's going to break the record, like getting there, like doing the actual math to get there. So let's say you hit 15 threes, which I think is the most ever. It's like around 15 is the most in the game. You're at what? 50 45 points? 45 points for 15 threes. you're about halfway there. So you have to hit some combination of like 20 plus extra free throws and then like 10 more shots from the field. Like it is incredibly difficult. Like first off, you're taking a crazy amount of shots. Like there's to be fair, like Wilt's not the only 100-point game. There've been other 100-point games like in lower levels. There was that kid in I think it was like D3 who scored like 105, but he took 70 shots in that game. Like he took like 30 plus three-pointers. Um like you have to have both the ability to make a ton of shots and also the stamina because that like if you ever play basketball and you've been trying to play or you've been playing for a while, like taking that many shots takes a toll on you. Your legs get tired, your arms get tired.
Hmm.
You like that in itself is just crazy. But like, hey man, go for the record. Like you shouldn't sit out for the records because whenever those graphics show up of like highest scoring player. You're going to be there forever. Nobody's going to remember the circumstances of the end of this game. Your name is in the history books. Like there's that famous graphic where it's like players who averaged like 15 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 40% shooting, and it's like Bird, Magic, LeBron, and Thaddeus Young. Like
Hmm.
Thaddeus Young is always going to be as part of whatever that graphic is. Like when you think of the highest scoring games in NBA history, Bam is always going to be there now. So like, it's not disrespectful to Kobe or any of that stuff. It's honestly the most disrespectful part is the Wizards. Like it is he is not like the fact that they gave it up to him. Like how did you not game plan for this or change anything in your game plan when he had 60 at halftime?
Yeah, that's what I think so too. And I don't think it cheapens. The ball still had to get into the net.
Somebody has
And
to score baskets. That's the point of the game. It's if he's the only one scoring the baskets, he's the only one scoring them. Like,
yeah, and people should just appreciate history. And anyone who actually had an issue with it is somebody who's just mad. And this is inevitable. These players are as better as they are, as good as they ever will be. And sure, it was very random, but still, 83 is 83. So I
yeah,
don't
and
I don't
it's
know what the fuss was about really.
and also like if someone's putting these numbers up, generally the games they're not really competitive. Like Booker scored 70 against the Celtics, and that was like they were feeding him to get 70. But then we had that week, I think it was 2 years ago, where there was a bunch of 60s, and then Luca had 72, 70
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Hawks. Like if
Yeah,
you
he was
watch
another one
the
too.
and then Embiid had 70 on like baby Wemby, and his back was Zach Collins. Like that was a terrible, but like that was his first season. Like he was just they just couldn't stop him.
Mhm.
Uh, Shit happens, man. Like part of the game is literally half of the game is stopping the other team from scoring, and if you cannot stop the one player from scoring, he's going to
Yeah,
keep scoring the ball. Like it's basketball.
exactly. Hey, for what it's worth, too, the Warriors just scored 120 in that game themselves. But regardless, Bam still has the record. This Heat team still trying to figure out what they have going into the postseason, and good game for them. Good job for Bam. And anybody who has an issue, well, go worry about something else. And another record was broken this week as well. Another this one actually was broken, I should say. We had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He broke Wilt Chamberlain's record for his 127th straight game scoring 20 or more points, doing so in clutch fashion when the Thunder edged out the Celtics this week. His 20-point streak began on November 1st, 2024, and he's averaged 32 and a half points on 53.5% shooting. And OKC, this is insane, has gone 102 and 24 with him in the lineup in that spread. So Shea Gilgeous-Alexander really showed his consistency. And sure, people another one they want to talk about how his foul baiting and if that even is a thing. But still, the consistency is apparent. And this team knows how to win with him. I felt it was impressive this week for him to get this nod. And for what it's worth, the streak continues as of today after a win against Dallas.
They were playing the Timberwolves. It was
Oh,
pretty
sorry,
close.
excuse me, the T Wolves. Yes.
Apparently he just kept it alive. But like the good, yeah. He's really good at scoring. That takes like an insane level of
Another one.
consistency. It's also like he's the engine for that team. Like between Jalen Williams playing like 10 games this year and Chet not being like a scorer, like he's not a guy who creates for himself really. Um, so somebody has to score. He's done a really good job of being consistent. Again, we've discussed this ad nauseum. If you look at the numbers, Shea is not it. The issue with Shea is not him drawing the fouls. Yeah, he gets ridiculous calls, but every superstar gets ridiculous calls. Like next year, the number of fouls that Victor is going to get called are going to be absurd. Partly because he's just ginormous and he moves in ways other people can't, so they kind of have to foul him. Um, but it's also, you're a superstar. They give you a certain amount of leeway uh, for it anytime you um, uh, anytime you like get to a certain point. So, good on him. Again, you go in the record books anytime you can get in the record books. Um, you want to be. I mean, there's good records, bad records. Like the Pistons didn't want to be in the record book for 28 straight losses, or you don't want to be a guy who misses like a jillion free throws or like leads the league in turnovers or something. Like there's bad records, but I mean, that's a level of consistency that's like ridiculous. That's most of LeBron's case for being the best ever is his like insane level of consistency. Um, which is like, you know, good on Shea. Again, the issue with Shea is not that he gets excessive superstar calls because he doesn't. Like we're not talking like prime James Harden where he would like get like 15 free throws a night. Um, we're talking someone who averages like I think he averages like 7 free throws a game. It's more the fact that his defense is just allowed to tackle people, which is partly why Tatum didn't play in that game. And I absolutely agree he should not have played in that game. Um, but yeah, it is what it is. Like again, if you have the chance of history, go for history. It's the same thing like the Warriors going for 73-9 when they got it. Um, that's tough. That takes a level of mental fortitude, but they're in those record books. And I guarantee you, before they hit that buzzsaw of the Spurs 3 times, Oklahoma City was absolutely thinking we're going to go for this record. And then basically losing, I think they lost
Yeah.
like 5 out of 7 or something, and it went like, oh well, I guess we can't do it. So that gives them a little more leeway to like focus on staying healthy and stuff into the later part of the season. But there's a reason we talk about the records because they're records, and
Um,
they stand until somebody breaks them. So like they always seem impossible. Now, granted, some of them are impossible. Like we're never going to. Nobody is ever going to catch LeBron's scoring numbers. It's just like his consistency and the volume is just too absurd. But somebody might catch. Scott Skiles had 30 assists in a game. I don't think we're ever going to see a 55 rebound game. But there's I don't know what the block total is, but I imagine somebody's going to break it at some point. Probably Victor. Um, but I actually think his totals are going down because teams are testing him less. But he's definitely gotten smarter. He does this thing. I know this isn't relevant, but we're going to talk about them. So they lost to the Hornets a couple weeks ago, and they've been 17-2 since then, with their 2 losses being to the Knicks on this weird Sunday game that they do now, which throws them off because um
mhm.
like we have enough data to know that like if you bring it to a week like a middle of the day game, Victor's off because of how his schedule works. Like he's so meticulous with his schedule. Like when he plays those games, he always plays
Yeah.
like garbage. And then the other one was to the Nuggets when they didn't have Wemby. But then they destroyed the Hornets last night or 2 nights ago. And then what he's doing now is he's just like pretending. Like there was 3 plays in that game. He blocked Diabate twice. He literally looked away at one point when somebody was
Mhm.
driving, and then when they went up, he sprung back and blocked it. And then he just stood there with his hands up. Grant Williams turned around and ran into Harrison Barnes for a turnover. Like, it's not even close. That if he hits the 65 threshold, he should be the unanimous defensive player of the year. Like it's such a joke that that anyone would consider anybody else.
Oh, I look forward to continuing that convo. But for what it's worth, Elmore Smith holds the NBA record for most blocks in a single game, a record 17 blocks for the LA Lakers against the Portland Trail Blazers in October of 1973.
Okay, so
Fifth,
that's a 53-year-old record, and I think the most we've had to them is like 10 or 12. I know he had a triple double with blocks,
Yes, Wibby has the most he's had is 10 in a game.
and I think Draymond had one as well. I don't remember if it was blocks or steals that he did. Oh, it may have been steals, but
Mhm.
like,
Yeah, the
yeah, man.
people with 10 actively is Wemby, Clint Capella, and Anthony Davis right now.
Okay, so like 17's a lot.
Yeah.
That is a crazy amount of shots. But like, yeah, I'm always gonna advocate for going for records. It doesn't matter. Like, don't worry about it. Just your name's in the history book. Somebody else's isn't, and that's how you just keep moving on.
Exactly. So, you're a Spurs fan. The West is a tightening up, but we're starting to see two teams really make a push. They've had a really good weeks, which includes the Lakers and the Nuggets, which include their epic overtime thriller, with Luka and Jokic both getting triple doubles in that game. And unfortunately, the Spurs were at the hands of a massive comeback for the Nuggets this week as well. So, as we are shaping up things, and these two teams started to get having good weeks. The Nuggets and the Lakers, how are we feeling right now? Do you think they're a threat to what the Spurs or OKC could do? Um, are we seeing something established here? What you thinking with the Nuggets and Spurs?
Well, the Nuggets possibly. So the issue with the Nuggets is their defense is terrible. Also, I think Jokic is probably still a little hurt because he's not playing as well as he was before the injury. I think he came back to try to like hit the game threshold, and at
Mm-hmm.
this point, I think they should try to like figure out how to rest him every other day or something so he's healthy because the other thing is Cam Johnson's been terrible. Like he has been bad this year. Um, Especially in the bright lights, he has not been good, which is not good for them. I don't know if he's hurt as well, but they need to find something from him. So assuming that, Aaron Gordon's hamstring can make it through the playoffs and they're healthy, they're absolutely a threat just because Jokic is so goddamn good. Um,
Yes.
but currently, can they beat Oklahoma City? I don't think so. I don't think they can beat the Spurs. And the Lakers, don't think they can beat any of those teams. A
See,
lot
they're
of
just
this is
really hot
coinciding with
right
LeBron.
now.
I think the Lakers are probably closer to the Rockets than they are to like the Thunder, Spurs, and Nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they're doing a lot of this without LeBron. Um, it's their defense is just too weird. Um, and a lot of this is Luca just going off. So yeah, it's cool when they do this. I don't think it'll work in a playoff series. I think their defense is just too
Mm-hmm.
um it is just not good enough. Like they don't have any point of attack guys. Like if they get to Oklahoma City, they have no chance against Oklahoma City. Or Jamal Murray didn't play well in that Lakers game, and generally Jamal Murray kills them.
Yeah.
So I don't think they'd be super worried about that. Um, I think they would have some issues with the Spurs just being younger and faster. But yeah, it would be like, yeah, Luca's like ridiculous. If they play Houston in round one, I don't know. It'll be one of the weirder rock fights. Because Houston is just not good. Like, I know they should have made a trade for like getting a Kobe White, getting Colin Sexton, just a guard to deal with this. Or like we're so far. The other thing is Sengun has been terrible. Like he's an awful defender. He's not a good passer, and he can't shoot anymore. So like,
Somebody KD was coming at in his tweets.
yeah, he's just they made a mistake, not going for it, and then um, it's just they're not a threat. I don't think the Lakers are a threat. They would have to like Luke would have to do an insane amount of work. They would have to slow every game down to like such a crawl. They would have to be scraping up like 100 point to like 98 point games. But they can't do that because their defense can't stop anybody. I know they're playing better defense in the stretch, but it's not. It hasn't coincided with their general outlook over the season. Like you can look good for 4 or 5 games. Like the Timberwolves keep looking good for a couple of games, and then they'll look terrible.
And then
Uh,
Anthony Edwards would have a bad game too in that stretch.
right, yeah.
Like
Or
today, he was really suffering against Oklahoma
well,
City.
again, the way to beat Oklahoma City is you have to have more than one guy who can dribble. That's why the Spurs are so good against them because they got the three guys.
Mhm.
Um, and I mean the Nuggets also because they kind of just throw it into Jokic. He's too big for most of the Oklahoma City. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really believe in the Lakers. It's always hard for me to root against Jokic. If you know my history of this podcast, I've basically always picked them to win the title, um,
Yeah,
because he's just been that fucking good. Um,
he's generational talent. He really
yeah,
is.
he's one of the best offensive players of all time. Um, so yeah, it's I don't know. There's gonna be some really good matchups. I'm more worried about the bottom. I think I think Golden State's probably better for them to kind of drop out of the play-in.
Mhm.
Not that there's anybody below them who's really going to come in. Like the thing is like the teams are kind of set in the West.
Yeah.
Because like everyone below the play-in is bad. So you want to like drop into that 10 seed and then you get like the 14th pick or something or the 12th pick. And then, I think I'd rather play. I think Phoenix would be a more interesting like if you're talking about storylines, the most interesting first round series for like either of the top two teams is the Clippers because you have Kawhi Leonard going up against Shea, who they could have played together, but like
Right.
nobody's
In
ever.
this season, Kawhi's having this renaissance season.
Or you have Kawhi going up against the Spurs, who still boo-hoo, and rightfully so.
Mhm.
Um, but like either way, those are good matchups. And then Houston Nuggets would probably be a good matchup. If we get Nuggets Timberwolves for like the third year in a row, that's always a good matchup. Those teams play each other pretty well.
Yep.
Um, I don't know. Phoenix Rockets would be interesting. The Jalen Green revenge series type
Maybe the
thing.
Kevin Durant revenge
The
series.
the, the Dylan Brooks, I'm just as good as KD. Like there's
Mhm.
some interesting stuff. But most of that's set. Like I don't even know where the Lakers who would be like a good because the Lakers basically need to catch.
Lightning in a bottle.
I would say Houston. I think Houston's maybe the only team that they could probably beat in the first round.
Mhm.
I think the Nuggets and the Timberwolves are too big. Oklahoma City is probably too young and aggressive, and I think the Spurs they would probably be close to, but I think the Spurs would beat them.
And the one thing that'd be interesting about the Lakers too is this the last dance for LeBron? I mean, I'm sure we'll bring it up in a segment again later down the road, but just quick thoughts: is this LeBron's last season, or you think he's gonna stay one more,
I
go
think
to
he's
Cleveland, and have a farewell tour, or just
no.
not, and then just try to ride it out while also that being a farewell tour?
I find it very hard to believe he's going to leave without a farewell tour. Um,
He just
but
needs to have everybody say thank
no,
you.
I just think like you know it should be like I think it's not like just a him thing. I think it's part of he's been such a fabric of the game, and he's
Hmm.
you know the third best player, the first best player, the second. He's a top three all time player.
Yeah.
Um, I think he deserves, and the league deserves to have him be celebrated in such a way. Now, where is he going to play? I have no fucking idea. I don't know if he's like in theory going home to Cleveland to ride it out, but if I'm Cleveland, I'm not entirely sure I want LeBron there when I'm trying to win a title. Like it makes more sense for him to be in like Golden State where they kind of need him and he wanted to play with Steph.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
Yeah, it's like because you're gonna get a circus wherever he goes. I don't think he's not gonna be a Laker. Um, I also think even if he left the Lakers, I think we're getting a better Luca next year.
Think so
Simply
too.
because he's not going to be dealing with his breaking up with his fiance, his wife, or whatever personal stuff is going on, which is stuff we've seen before. This happened when Dame got traded to Milwaukee. His first season, he was dealing with a lot of personal stuff off the court. Um,
Hmm.
so like stuff like that changes how people play, but I don't think he's going back to LA.
Yeah, I don't
I
think he's gonna retire there too either. It seems just very bitter reading, that inside story with the Buzz family and letting it known how they really feel about him, at least Jenny Bus. and it just went downhill despite winning a title during the pandemic, which is still admirable. But
Yeah, it's gonna
it
be
just
like if he doesn't go back to like Cleveland or Miami or something, this will be the only stop where he doesn't win the title. Because unless he goes to like Oklahoma City or like rides the bench in San Antonio or like Denver, he's not gonna win a title on like 80% of these. Like he's not going to Detroit or like
LeBron James's last season, Detroit
or
or Orlando or
it could
name
be a
any team
Nick.
really.
I
Uh,
I don't think they have because it's not even that. Like if he's gonna do a farewell tour. Like, is he going to demand a max paycheck or is he going to, take a vet minimum?
right.
So I don't know. I can't imagine it being the last one. I know this is certainly going to be his most injured season,
Yeah.
but the dude is 41. Like,
Started
it's
out the season
incredible.
with sciatica, man.
Yeah, he's old. He's, but he's still like he's not. Let's be clear. Like, he's not washed, but he's just older. Like LeBron losing half a step is still better than what 80% of the league.
Yeah, I
Something
agree.
like it's just where does it make sense for him to go? I just find it hard to believe that he's because of you know the spotlight he's been in and who he's been. I find it hard to believe he wouldn't come back for one more year. Um, because I think they wanted to make this year try to go for it again with Luca, but they all kind of knew that this was like a bridge year.
Yeah, I think that's the case too. And again, I'm sure we'll revisit that conversation. But for now, Lakers are hot. And hopefully, they can stay hot. So I've started to see legitimate people. I know you've put this out there. I'd like to bring it up again. The idea that the NBA needs to shorten their regular season to help make their regular season competitive. Whether it's going right now, 82 game season, do you bring it to a 70 game season? Would it be crazy to be a 60 game season and have more off days spread out? We got a CBA coming up, and that could also lead to expansion. But there seems to be a lot of things to be straightened out, especially for this. It's been a tough stretch for the NBA in the last few years. But is it time to really bring up during these CBA negotiations to shorten the season if they could somehow get the revenue that they're making in 82 games and shortening it down to a smaller amount?
Well, honest, the money is the only thing keeping them from shortening the season. Like all the data points to them having, like the Spurs in this stretch from like I don't know, it was the end of more. They don't have 2 days off. That's why Victor missed the Wednesday the Nets game. Like they played Denver, got a day. They played Charlotte yesterday. They're playing the Clippers tomorrow, and then I think they have one more game on Wednesday as well. Like they play like 8 games in 10 days or some crazy thing like that. Yeah, the season is too long. The players move more and have to be more athletic than they ever have been. There's just more involved with it. It's a larger strain on them. Having less of a season puts more onus on each game mattering more, makes it harder to tank. Because you may accidentally win, 10 games before the 20 game mark, and now there's not enough games for you to be bad. I- it so to get the money, I think you're able to charge like in theory, if you added 2 more teams, that would bring in new markets.
Yep.
Depending on whether you put them in. uh, I think we all assume it's probably Seattle and Vegas.
Right.
It's
Yeah, that's
and
the big
then
heavy favorite.
the Timberwolves would probably go to the East to
Mhm.
balance it out. Um, but like that would bring into, but those expansion teams are kind of going to suck. Um, Depending on how they do the their draft compensation or whatever, because they have the expansion draft, which just is who knows what that's going to look like. If it's going to be like it's been in the past where teams protect their top 8 and then you just draft from them. Um, so those teams, it's going to take them a little while to get off the ground, especially if they hit like, if they come in and that next draft is like a 2024 draft instead of like this year's. Like if you had an expansions teams coming in this year, those teams would be way more exciting than if they came in when like Zachary Ricochet was the number one pick. Like that would also change how these teams excel for a while. But the problem, like the biggest issue would be if they shorten the games and then um the owners jacked up the prices for like tickets and stuff. Like games are already very expensive,
Yeah,
and it's expensive to get well, except for Phoenix. That's like the one of the good things they did. If you go to I don't even know what the fuck their name of their arena is. Their concessions are all like $2 to $3. Like they lowered the price, so it's very cheap. But like
you like that?
I could go to Bulls games and it's cheaper for me to like get tickets and concessions than just to get a ticket at a Knicks game. Now, granted,
Yeah,
you know,
you'll probably get prepared to starting at $150 to start to
right,
go to a
like
just get in the arena.
right, the arena, the teams are different and stuff like that. But that would be the issue. I would wonder how the viewership would go because like some of this stuff is ridiculous. I was trying to watch the Spurs play the Knicks, and even though ESPN is owned by Disney and you could technically watch it through the Disney, it's its own separate thing where you needed to purchase an ESPN Plus
Yep.
subscription in order to watch, which means now I'm playing twice to watch one game. Like that's not that's a way. Like the issue is so much of this stuff is like just pinching the consumer for extra money for the product. Like let's be clear, like the NBA isn't collapsing. A lot of people when they talk about it having trouble, it's because the season is too long and there's ebbs and flows where like you get the first like 20 plus games where teams are still trying to figure it out. It's super exciting. Um, Oklahoma City's undefeated. Somebody gets hot for a month. Um, and then it's like football season. And then we just got the Jazz thing, which was again pushed by um all the gambling people. That's why they got pissed about it. Like right as the NBA came back. Like the All-Star game is coming back. Things are looking up. I think also shortening the season makes the players like you're not going to need to have the the awards cut off if you shorten the season. So there's not going
Of
to
course.
be like players who don't win award like this. We're going to see a very strange smattering of um like first team and stuff this year because guys are gonna like Maxi's out of the awards. Like he's not going to have enough games played.
Nope.
So that he was a potentially first team, second team All NBA guy. Jokic may not make it. Giannis did not make it. There's a chance Wemby. I think he missed like three more games. Uh, might not make it. Like these are the guy. Like he may. Like these are the issues with like the. It's money related. It's status related. Gives a weird picture of the season. So having a shortened season allows guys to be healthier for longer. It allows them to um, not take games off in the same way. It allows for a better product of the playoffs because a lot of times the playoffs is who can survive the longest against what the brutal setup is. Because maybe if you have less games, maybe you could separate the playoffs a little bit more, or their guys aren't getting hurt as often in the playoffs. That would help boost your product. It's just I don't know. I think they should shorten the season. I don't know if it should be a 70 game season or I know when they did the lockout was my freshman year of college. That was like 66 games. I think that was probably too many because they're having guys play back to back to backs. And that really they were just trying to condense too much of the season. Um So that was weird. But yeah, this the season is definitely too long.
Yeah, I think it's time for them to shorten the season too because of all the competition and added on. Remember like for instance, Christmas was the NBA's day. Now it's the NFL's day, unfortunately.
Well, I mean
And
that all depends on who's playing. Like, if you're playing like next year, if they do like Oklahoma City, San Antonio, I don't know, Knicks Pistons or uh or they do like the Pacers Celtics, like teams that are good and want to play, you're going to have good games. And that will bring more excitement to it. But
No, I hear
like
that.
like the same thing like with the football thing on Thanksgiving, like I'm a Lions fan, man. We should not have been playing on Thanksgiving every fucking year. We suck 90% of the time.
Mhm.
I there was we had what was his face? We had like Tim Boyle at point guard or at
Mhm.
quarterback one year. And
Of
like it
course.
just we were just bad. Just because they
Right.
always play.
But, back to the NBA though, it's just I think you need to I think it would make games it obviously would add more stakes to these games. It would um help, spreading out these off days too. I just think it would be better. So we'll ultimately see if that comes to fruition. And the last thing I want to ask you about right now is as we are approaching the end of the season, we have the MVP race tightening, and it seems it's going to be a three-player sprint. Either Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, it'll either be Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Nikola Jokic, or Victor Wembanyama, with Wemby rising the ladder probably the most and is a favorite in Vegas right now, who's been dominant on both ends of the floor. Just in March alone, he's averaging 28 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 blocks. Um, it's going to be a very interesting race as you were alluding to. So I want to hear more of your thoughts on that.
So I think it's really only a two-person race. I think it's just Victor and Shea. I don't know if Jokic is going to make it. I think his play is like in the first before he got hurt, you were gonna like he very clearly was like the MVP. Um, because his numbers were just stupid. Triple double, just crazy shooting splits. Um, I think Shea's probably gonna win it simply because his team is the best. He's been really good. And not to say he doesn't deserve it. He's had a fantastic season. I think if it's also gonna like the knock against Victor is going to be minutes played, but it doesn't like he puts up like such he plays like under 30 minutes most of the time, and he just puts up like insane stat lines.
One thing can
Um,
I add to if this Spurs team is about to be a 50-win team where he was the major factor in it, I think that actually helps his MVP chances because he helped this team turn into a powerhouse with his presence. There's something to that, I think.
no, I agree, and I think the real issue with that is going to be how many games separate them from Oklahoma City.
Mhm.
Like if there is like a 10 game gap or like a 15, I don't think they'll be that far. I think they're only like 3 games in the loss column behind Oklahoma City. Um, that would make a difference. But I think like if the Spurs get the 1 seed, he should be MVP. I don't know if there's enough games left for them to catch him, but he's certainly going to be one of the front runners next year. Um, he's I think Shea's probably going to win it unless he doesn't make the games played and they don't get past. But other than that, I think it's him and Wemby. I think what happened is the Pistons kind of fell off, and that hurt Cade's chances. And I think the Nuggets are struggling a little bit too much um, to for him to win based on like the numbers argument. I think they're going to be too many games down in the standings. I think Luka's just had too weird a year. I don't even know if Luka qualifies for the MVP at this point. But I think it's just a two-man race, and I think it's going to come down to seedings if Victor plays enough games.
Right. Well, I'm really excited for that. That wraps up what I have to say today. So literally, it's just a month away. The last game of the regular season will be the 12th of April. So that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks to go. Is there anything else you want to bring up for today?
Uh, no, I didn't. Nothing other than like the Diawara hooping with Undani is very cool for him. I think that was a. I honestly didn't
He's been
really
having a
know
great.
much.
He's been a solid bench player for the Knicks this year.
Oh, he played really well against San Antonio. So yeah, I think that's a cool little wrinkle for the team. I think um,
Finally getting off the road. They've been felt like they've been on the road for a month now. Well, they'll
yeah,
finally be back.
that's the other thing. Shortening the season will make some of these trips a little like the Spurs have their like built-in rodeo because they have their one stadium, the rodeo trip where they go away for like a couple weeks.
Yeah, the
Um,
Knicks just did that with Big East and all of that. The
yeah,
Big East
so there's
tournament.
like that scheduling stuff would be a little different, but yeah, I don't know. I don't got much else to say from that.
Well, we also have March Madness. The tournament just got announced, so if we see some future talent there, and a lot of people really saying this is going to be a big special draft, and we talked a bit
This
of
is
that
going to
last
be.
week.
I think Acuff is about to, like he's had such a like he's going to be a dog in this. I think he's got one of those like I'm gonna just light everybody Kemba type thing on fire. I think he's gonna go. He may go number 5 because of this tournament if they win it.
Okay, okay, we like that. But yeah, so I think this particular March Madness is something to really pay attention to. The first round you might have like, let's say, I mean, there really is some all stars in this, as we talked about last week too. But something to really pay attention to. It's gonna be a fun tournament, and can't wait to see what happens. So good work, faces. I'll see you next week for more NBA discussions, and we'll see you throughout the week here, productive conversation. So have a wonderful day, everybody.